Hello students and welcome to the e-learning portal of Balughat Mahila Mahavidyalaya. Today I will be teaching the students of semester 2 who are following the CBCS system of education, BSc Botany Honours, paper 5 of DC3, and the topic of discussion here will be bryophytes. As you all know, in semester 1 we studied algae under the topic phycology. We studied fungi, plant pathology under the topic mycology, and then now we are studying bryophytes. The study of bryophytes is known as bryology. Now, before going into the details of bryology, I want you to recall what we have been studying in semester 1. In semester 1, we studied something about gametophyte, we studied about sporophyte, we studied about different type of sexual reproduction, isogamy, anisogamy, oogamy, and I want you to recall all these type of things that we studied in semester 1. But bryophytes mainly will follow the oogamous type of reproduction, where the gametes are physiologically and morphologically different, and this is the female gamete and this is the male gamete. Gametophyte is represented by n number of chromosomes, sporophyte is represented by 2n number of chromosomes. I want you to follow the slides that I have just prepared, and we will come back and discuss it in detail.
What are bryophytes? Bryophytes are small plants, that is, they can photosynthesize. They are very small, starting from 2 cm to 60 cm or even more sometimes, but they grow in moist and shady places. Moist place means that there must be some water, and they grow away from the direct sunlight. They are not big plants, as I said, but they will lack roots, vascular tissues, mechanical tissues and cuticle. Now roots, vascular tissues, mechanical tissues and cuticle, they are the characteristic features of higher plants. That is why bryophytes are grouped as lower plants. They are terrestrial, that is, they grow on land, but they require water to complete their life cycle. Water is very essential for bryophytes for reproduction. That is why bryophytes are known as amphibians of plant kingdom. Amphibians, as you all know, are the animals or plants that can survive on land as well as in water. Another important feature of bryophyte is their type of life cycle. They show haplo, diplo, biontic type of life cycle. As you all know from your classes in semester 1, haploid generation means gametophytic generation represented by n number of chromosomes. Diploid means sporophytic generation represented by 2n number of chromosomes. Bryophytes exhibit both the type of gametophyte as well as sporophyte. That is why they are termed as haplo-diplo biontic type of life cycles. Heterologous means both the gametophyte and the sporophyte, they are not morphologically similar. So, bryophytes show heterologous haplo-diplo biontic type of life cycle. The dominant plant body is the gametophyte. That means gametophytic generation is the dominant generation, and the sporophyte is semi-parasitic. When you look at the sporophyte is always attached to the gametophyte with the help of a specialized cells known as foot. These foot cells will help the sporophyte to derive nutrition from the gametophyte. But at the same time, gametophyte is also capable of photosynthesizing. Gametophyte is dominant and sporophyte is also semi-parasitic. That is why in bryophytes you will always find the sporophyte will never leave the gametophyte. Another important feature of bryophyte is that the sexual reproductive organs. The male sexual reproductive organ is known as antheridium. Female reproductive organ is known as archegonium. The antheridium and the archegonium, you will find there is the covering of sterile cells around them. These sterile cells are known as sterile jacket cells. This is also one of the characteristic features of bryophytes. Another important thing that you all should know is that bryophyte, the type of reproduction, the type of sexual reproduction in bryophyte is oogamous. That is, the female gamete, the egg, is not motile, whereas the male gamete, the antherizoid, is motile, and egg is always larger in size. The antherizoid or the sperm cell will swim in the film of water and then fertilize the egg. This is where the water is very important in the life cycle of a bryophyte. Another important feature is that the multicellular embryo, that is 2N, will develop inside the archegonium. As I said, the sporophyte is never independent. It will grow inside the archegonium and then it will remain attached with the archegonium with the help of a foot. There is a long seta and a capsule. The capsule will produce spores. These spores are always haploid spores. Now haploid spores will never germinate directly into a gametophyte. They will form an intermediate structure known as protonema. That is, the spores will germinate into protonema. Protonema will then give rise to gametophyte. Another important feature that I would like to discuss here is the progressive sterilization of sporogenous tissue. In bryophytes, we will find a variety of sporophytes, simple type of sporophytes and advanced type of sporophyte. In simple type of sporophyte, the entire sporophyte is converted into a sporangium. But in advanced type, only a portion of sporophyte is converted into spores. There is always a progressive evolution of sterilization of tissues. This is what we should try to understand now. There are two important theories. One is a progressive evolution, that means from simple to complex. And another one is regressive evolution, that is evolution from complex to simple. The first theory is a widely accepted theory which was proposed by Bower and was supported by Cavers and Campbell.
Now, one of the important things whenever we are studying bryophyte is that we should understand how a very complex sporophyte eventually came. And this particular progress was explained in the theory of sterilization, and this theory is known as progressive sterilization of sporogenous tissue. Let me give you a small introduction to this particular theory. That is, this is one of the sporophyte that will develop inside the gametophyte. Now, in simple condition, the entire sporophyte will produce spores, and those spores are homospores, haploid in nature. Now, ultimately, when you look into the higher bryophytes, these are simple type, And when you look into the higher type of bryophytes, inside the gametophyte, you will find the sporophyte, which is very well developed. This is the capsule area, this is the seta, and this is the food. Inside the capsule, when you see, the capsule is also not at all fully fertile. Only a small portion known as a spore sac will produce here spores. What does it mean? It means now the sporophyte is growing, it is becoming more and more complex, and then only a small portion is fertile, rest of the tissues are sterile. So how does this happen? How does this progress happen from a simple type to a complex type? There are other intermediate sporophyte types in between, and this theory explains this particular progress in 8 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and ultimately 8 steps are there to explain this theory, and I have prepared a slide for that, and we will see what is there.
Now let us try and understand this theory, which is also known as theory of sterilization. There are 8 stages that should explain the theory of sterilization. Let us consider the most simple type of bryophyte, represented by Rixia. Now in Rixia, the sporophyte is very small, very simple, and it is single layer. There is a single layer of jacket that surrounds the sporophyte, and inside the sporophyte you will find spore mother cells as well as nurse cells. Nurse cells are sterile cells where spore mother cells will give rise to haploid spores. Now this is the most simple form of sporophyte. You will find that entire sporophyte is now producing spores, and there are very few sterile cells, and sterile cells will include the jacket and the nurse cell. The second stage. In this second stage, the sporophyte is little bit developed, which is represented by Coccinea. You can see here the sterile foot is there in this genus, and it is little bit developed from that of Rixia. You will also find a single layered epithecium. The capsule is formed and the spore mother cells are inside the capsule. Now the third stage. Here you can see that the capsule is little bit developed. You can see the capsule is covered by a single layered involucre, and the calyptra is also formed. Here you can see the sporophyte is little bit advanced type. You will see that the capsule is much more enlarged, the involucre is multicellular, there is a well developed foot and seta and calyptra. If you compare this sporophyte to the third stage, here the sporophyte is much more developed. There are some sterile elaters also in this sporophyte. Now what are elaters, that we will understand later when we are studying the specific genera, but now you see here in the fourth stage the sporophyte is much more developed. Now the fifth stage. This is a very common genera, Markensia, which we will study in detail in our later classes. Here you can see there is a very well developed foot, the peridium, the seta, the calyptra. The capsule will contain elaters and spores. It is a multicellular sporophyte, and this is little bit advanced type of sporophyte, but in every cases the sporophyte is always attached with the gametophyte. In the sixth stage, we have taken an example of the sporophyte of Pilia. In this sporophyte, you can see there is a multi-layered seta. The foot is very well developed. There is a jacket cell, the multi-layer jacket cell. The sporophyte is developing from one step to another, and the complexity of sporophyte is also seen here. The seventh stage is represented by a very well-known genus called Anthocerus. Anthocerus is the genera where you can see the meristematic tissues in the central region. The foot and then the meristematic tissue. The meristematic tissue will help the Anthocerus sporophyte to grow continuously. In this sporophyte you can see columella, you can see pseudoelaters, and you can also see a very well developed sporophyte. Now the eighth and the final stage. Here we have taken the example of Funaria. Funaria is a bryophyte that belongs to the class Bryopsida. Bryopsida is the most advanced class of bryophytes, and in this class, in all the members you will see a very well developed sporophyte. The sporophyte will contain stomata, meristematic cells. The air space is also present. As you can see in the picture, there is the presence of operculum, peristome and annulus. That means the sporophyte is very well differentiated, and all these cells are sterile cells, and in center you will find the spore sac, and spore sac will contain spore mother cells which will give rise to haploid spores. So in this way, as you see, from simple type to a complex type of sporophyte, how the development has taken place.
Now I think you understood what is a brief idea about theory of sterilization. When you will study about the genera in detail, then you will understand it more. What does it mean by that progressive sterilization of sporogenous tissues? But let me give you a brief account of what we just saw in those slides. What we saw here is there was a simple type of sporophyte presented by Rixia, and this sporophyte is a simple type. Later on, another type is represented by type 2, where there is a foot. In type 3, there is a foot and there is an involucre. Now, it happens so that in type 8, there is a very well developed sporophyte with a well developed capsule. Now, this is the most advanced type. This is what this actually theory is explaining. There is a progress in the course of evolution in the type of sporophyte from a simple to the complex type. There is another theory called as regressive theory, which says that from a complex type a simple type came, but that theory was not at all accepted. But this theory of progressing in the complexity, that is from a simple type must be a little simple came, and then after some time this came, and ultimately this type of sporophyte eventually evolved. So there is a complexity in the sporophyte. Whenever you see a very evolved sporophyte, it means it is a link to the higher plants. In higher plants, you see a very well developed sporophyte. The gametes are reduced to a very small cells, and then when you see this type of sporophyte, advanced type of sporophyte, bryophyte shows a link between the aquatic plant and the higher terrestrial land plant. That is why study of bryophyte is very important. In my coming classes, we will talk about the important genera in bryophytes. We will talk about classification of bryophytes, which you also understand how this entire bryophyte is classified, and we will look into some important economic aspects of bryophytes. I hope to see you in my next class. We have already uploaded the material in PDF format that we have just studied now in the college website www.balghat.mmb.com, and I want you to subscribe the YouTube channel. I want you also to forward it and share it to your friends so that they can also understand. Hope to see you in the next class. Thank you.